So not too long ago, I asked you guys what you thought was Terraria's most underrated item overall. So that could be anything, like weapons, accessories, mounts, paper airplanes. And this post got a bunch of interesting responses all across the board. So I thought I'd take a look at 5 of the more interesting ones and give them a 1 through 10 ranking on how well they actually fit the status of quote-unquote underrated. So moving right in, I have to start with the most popular suggestion, the Magiluminescence. This is an accessory from the Don't Starve collab, and it's really good. The accessory buffs up your speed and acceleration stats by like 1.5 miles, so how underrated is it? Well, as the reply to this comment says, the item is more so unknown than it is underrated, and I do agree. Since it's newer and it's a crafted item, I guess less people discover it. Even then though, I don't see it used that much, even from the people who know about it. There's not a whole lot more to say here. I do think that more people might just not know it exists, but it's definitely still underrated, so I'm gonna say 6 out of 10 here, but definitely use the Magiluminescence, it's fantastic. Next up, one that I thought was very interesting, and I definitely agree with, recall potions. This is the only potion in Terraria that has a separate item for infinite use of that potion's effect. Since the magic mirror exists, most people just get their hands on one of them and doom the recalls into endless sorrow at the bottom of the mustiest chest in their storage. But recall potions do actually have a use above mirrors because they're way faster. If you're playing hardcore and you need to escape a bad situation, recalls get you back in an instant rather than the 1-ish second delay that mirrors have, which could easily be the difference between living and the add to cart button on the new monitor. Recall potions get a nice 8 out of 10 on the underrated scale. Next up, the most underrated item ever, the subscribe button. I've still got the other Bcubed in my path, and I'd love to pass that guy in subs, so go ahead and sub. Thanks. For the third underrated item in Terraria, with quotes, we got the True Excalibur. This one's a bit complicated. The True Excalibur and the True Knight's Edge have both gotten balance changes, crafting changes, progression changes, and entire reworks over the years, so there's a lot of different versions that people might remember which could get in the way, like how the True Knight's Edge used to be way better, but now it's much closer. The comment mentioned how Excalibur is overshadowed by Knight's Edge, and in my poll, people definitely like Knight's Edge more, so let's take a look. Using the Knight's Edge, you have higher DPS if you hit with the actual sword itself, but with just the projectiles, the damage is lower than the True Excalibur, which has a much larger range than the blade of the Knight's Edge. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, I'm gonna say on average, the True Excalibur is a better weapon, and yeah, based on the poll, that would make it a bit underrated. 4 out of 10 though, only a bit. Next up, I decided to throw in a fun one, the Rainbow String. I like the suggestion quite a lot because it's just a fun little cosmetic item for both yo-yos and fishing rods. It's great, and honestly, I'm not sure I've ever gone for it, so maybe it is underrated. Giving this one a 7 out of 10. Go dye your strings. And finally, last but not least, the golf cart. This mount is genuinely so good. Like literally you can just go to the desert, grab the golfer, kill Skeletron, farm golfing score in a elevator, and buy the golf cart. Funny enough, I actually just decided to ask Keppels, the one who suggested it, to provide his reasons for the golf cart, and he delivered. First off, as I mentioned, using a big old pit, you can unlock it very quickly after Skeletron. Then we have the movement, which is the same as Wall of Flesh max speed, so you can always keep up. Also, jump height is weirdly a really good one for a car, pretty much. Also, it accelerates very quickly, even though dashing gets the max speed anyway, but whatever. And lastly, the golf cart can also deal damage from ramming, which provides immunity frames, and this can be used for stuff like Duke Fishron or Queen Bee when they dash. So final conclusion, this thing has some pretty crazy function and not a whole lot of usage, so 7 out of 10 for the golf cart. Alright, that seems like just about everything. Thanks to all the members on the left, and if you enjoyed, press some of those buttons down there. Also, if you want more videos like this, let me know. Alright, bye bye.